Alright, this is the second to last episode of Dragon Age 2. Now, if you're just tuning in, this is what you missed.
Why should I be sad? It's my birthday, the happiest day of the year.
But I have made a commitment to remain optimistic. Sure, so many ceiling ties fell I decided to just pull them all down and restore the original ceiling. And it wasn't easy, but I could take pride in the result. And my family even offered to pitch in. We got some nice tan paint for the trim and, of course, bright white for the ceiling itself. And instead of me having to spend another day taking care of all that, they said they'd finish it up for me. That's great. For once, I don't have to lift a finger. They're going to step up and take... Well, could be worse. They could have painted the floor instead of the ceiling. What? No, I wasn't making fun of you. No, I wouldn't do that. No, we have to paint the white over that. Because if we paint the ceiling that color, and the trim that color, and the molding that color, it's going to look like we're trapped in a giant M&M, okay? Thank you. This experience actually helps put me in the right mindset, because when you're dealing with the Dragon Age 2 experience, this is a lot of it. You've got people there to pitch in, but unless you're there to handle everything personally, everything kind of goes to shit. This chapter is all about dealing with your companions.
I didn't think you'd come. I'll find something relatively clean for you to sit on.
Oh, don't trouble yourself on my account. I'm happy to indulge in your filth. Well, I can't help but notice that there is a bit of a tension between Merrill and all of the other elves. And it's something that we probably should figure out, since we inevitably have to go in the hills around here where the elves are hanging out.
What made you unpopular with the Dalish?
Being first to the Keeper, I was always a bit secluded. I studied magic and history while the others were learning the Via Tanadal. It's good that I left. I'd have made a terrible Keeper. I was never that good with people.
I couldn't help but notice a distinct lack of mention of any blood magic in your answer, so I have to think that maybe there's something you're not telling me. But I'm not going to get into it right now. There's something moving inside this chair. I don't want to stay on it any longer. People have sometimes said I've got a bug up my ass, but I don't want it to be literal. If you were to sum up Merrill in one word, I think that word would be innocence. I know the temptation might be to go with naivete, but while that accompanies innocence much of the time, Merrill also leads towards things that don't necessarily fit in with that. Kindness, or giving people the benefit of the doubt. She clashes with Bethany and Anders over her use of blood magic, certainly, but even that seems to be born of the same innocence. She's devoid of the cynicism of others and wants to believe wholeheartedly that intentions purify actions. If you're trying to do the right thing, then it's okay to do things that other people find taboo. Note that she doesn't cross the line from taboo into outright wrong. She won't take the blood of others to accomplish some greater good, but she will use blood magic believing that the good she is doing with it negates the bad stuff that everyone else talks about in doing it.
I've got something to show you. Come and see.
If it's two rats you think are playing again, I am never coming back here. She wants to show us the Illuvion. That's the magical mirror. Morgan and Tim walked into one at the end of Witch Hunt, remember? This is a different one, though. The one from the Dalish origin story. One that broke. Even if you're not superstitious, I think you can agree it came with some bad luck. So why are you interested in this one, Merrill, besides the fact that it'll probably make my life worse?
Long ago, the elves had a kingdom. An empire that covered Thedas. And every city had an Illuvion. The mirrors let them communicate across their empire. But I don't know how exactly. My people have lost so much. We know almost nothing of the days before Arlathan. This is a piece of our history.
That's another thing about Meryl, and why I think she's more innocent than naive. She's certainly not stupid. She just seems to want to believe the best. Hence her horror when she saw what Tevinter or Bloodmage did in the name of power. To her, the Eluvian is a metaphor for the Dalish, I think. Once great, but now shattered. And in trying to restore it, she's trying to restore her people, even if it is only in a small way.
Tell me you didn't bring the killer mirror to Kirkwall just because it's pretty.
It's not dangerous, I promise. I fixed it, or tried to, with blood magic.
That wasn't as reassuring as you thought it was. I took care of the radiation leak. I just dumped toxic waste all over it, and I think it's perfectly fine now.
I've tried everything, and I think it's because it needs to be finished with a special tool. An Arulin home. And my clan has one. It's been in their hands for generations.
I hear a but coming.
I can't go back there alone.
And let me guess, you want me to go with you. Because whenever anybody gets an invitation to the apocalypse, they want me to be their +1.
Keeper, I need the Arulin home. The ancient carving blade that Master Island keeps.
I see. You wish to rebuild the Eluvian.
You don't have to approve of it. I'm invoking Via Sulavanen. I'll do whatever task you wish.
Whoa, what? I thought I was just here for moral support. What have you dragged me into?
So our clan's most cherished relics can be claimed by everyone. Any Dalish can perform a service for the clan and gain ownership of such an item.
Oh no, this isn't going to be like the last time, is it? Where it's just one task, but then you pile a dozen conditions on top of it. Like you say, oh, I just need you to get me a drink of water. By which you mean find a special blessed tree, chop it down, hollow out a bowl from the wood, collect the dew off of a certain flower, and then carry it to you balanced on my head while people are throwing wood chips at me.
Avar Terrell has taken the lives of 3 of our hunters. It lairs in a cavern in the mountainside. Seek it out, slay it. No one else must fall to its anger. Do this for us, and I will give you the Arulin home.
One monster. You just want me to kill one monster. All right, if that's the case, then that's fine. That's not so bad. Yep, saw it coming. These elves can't get a bottle of milk without having to kill 36 monsters.
Whoever's hiding had better come out. Unless you're a dragon, then feel free to keep hiding.
Hello? Praise Andraste. I mean the creators.
Ah, forgot the chantry doesn't work here at the elves, huh? What happened? The keeper send you in here to go collect some giant spider turds or something like that as punishment?
Meryl?
Anethera, Paul. Are you hurt?
Stay back. What do you want from me?
Paul, what's wrong? I'm here to help.
Stay back! Don't touch me!
Well, that is not the homecoming I would have expected. I have only ever seen one person react to Meryl that way, and that was some rich upper-class person who thought being touched by elves made them unclean. Well, live and learn, I guess.
Hold on, Paul. We're coming.
Just tell me this thing is why we came in here, because if we're killing another monster just to get to the monster, I expect to get a lot more than a gardening tool for all our efforts.
Paul? Maybe it's not too late. Maybe we can get him to the Keeper. She can heal almost anything.
Yeah, Meryl, but it is almost anything. And this guy looks to have changed residences to downtown almost.
He ran away from the Denerim and found us. I thought if anyone would understand, he would. Something is very wrong. I want to see the Keeper.
Yeah, me too. For the amount of monsters I slain, I should get to ride back home on one of those antelope camels or whatever you call them.
He acted like I was a monster.
Don't blame yourself, kitten. Sometimes men do senseless things.
Well, at least he and these other fallen elves here are at peace now, and that's something you can take comfort in. Until hideous magics come along and animate their corpses. But I figured that went without saying.
We lost Paul. In the cave, he fled at the sight of me. Straight into the Vaterol.
Many of the clan fear you will bring back the corruption. Or worse, from the mirror.
And where did they get that idea?
I am their keeper, Dalain. It was my duty to warn them.
Well, you could have just gone with a warning to look for signs that she'd been corrupted. Hello, how you doing? Shouldn't be met with running away in horror.
Hawke, because Merrill won't listen, I give this heirloom of my clan to you for safekeeping. Please, don't let her do this.
Hey, I just agreed to kill the monster for you, and I killed a whole bunch more crap. Don't lay this at my feet. I don't want to take responsibility for your crappy letter opener. I've got enough shit of my own to keep sorted. I just know, if I take this home, then Sandro's going to use it to peel potatoes, and you'll find out and declare some kind of elven crusade against me for violating your sacred whatever, and then you'll burn all the potato fields in the Free March.
You've returned. Is there something you need?
Do you sell the ink you Dalish use for tattooing?
How dare you? That ink is sacred. We would no sooner sell it to Shem than we would sell our own children.
You know what, Meryl? I changed my mind. Give it back. You can use it later. I just want to stand in front of this guy and pick my teeth and clean my nails with their sacred blade for a little while before we go. Uptight son of a bitch. Hey, why so glum? We fought a monster for you, and now you're just moping?
I thought their rule in a home would fix everything. The mirror would work and everything would be right again.
Well, I don't claim to be an expert, but do you think that huge missing piece might have something to do with why it doesn't work? Regardless, she is grateful that we went to so much trouble, and she's going to keep tinkering away at that thing.
You've had many lovers, haven't you?
Fewer than some think.
But you never stay with them.
No, why should I?
But the act of lovemaking is so intimate.
I don't make love. What I do is only skin deep, kitten. Don't worry your pretty little head about it.
I have trouble picturing Meryl having sex. I just see her giggling in half embarrassment the entire time. But anyway, let's talk about Isabella. You might think if I was to pick a word to describe her, it would be promiscuous, or some synonym of that. And she certainly is. And I've referred to that before, but not as a criticism. Or rather, a criticism of the practice outside of a relationship with me. It's just, look, I'm open to you doing what you want to do. I'm just with Elton John on this one. But I think that, while this is certainly on display with Isabella, the word that best describes her is freedom. I'd say even more than Anders, Isabella supports freedom for all the good and the bad that might entail. Good in that she revels in life. Bad because sometimes she says or does something that's going to come back to cause trouble. Still, like most who wholly embrace freedom, it's as much for others as it is for herself. She doesn't just stand up for her right to do what she wants, say what she wants, and sleep with who she wants. She'll encourage this kind of thing in other people. It's probably why she speaks about sexual matters as much as she does. As she confessed, the number of people she's bedded isn't nearly as large as other people think. Speaking of sexual matters is her way of poking fun at the restraints polite society has on the topic, and a chance to perhaps infect a little bit of her free spirit in others, to liberate them from their self-imposed restraints. But if you want to best see the fact that she doesn't just talk a good game when it comes to freedom, look only at what happened to get her trapped in Kirkwall. Her decision to free enslaved Fereldans. She didn't have to stick her neck out for them, and standing up for a principle is just about the last thing you would expect from a pirate. But that's how deeply she believes in the idea of it. She even supports the right of mages to be free, which is an unpopular opinion among many humans. She's not exactly honorable, as she is happy to lie and cheat, and, as we saw, even betray if she doesn't feel a strong kinship with Hawke. But she remains committed to that ideal. But no, not really honorable. She's happy to ignore the plights of others and happy to get a little extra coin out of any deal. Let people take responsibility for their own problems is her view. And if they want her help, well, there should be as much in it for her as she can get.
I used to be like you know.
You used to be a woman?
No.
That explains a lot.
My family put me in the Chantry because I was giving them a bad name. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I found peace. I found a purpose. Before I came here, I used to be out to all hours, drinking and whoring. I didn't believe in anything except my own pleasure.
Why couldn't I have met you then?
To sum up Sebastian, one word comes to mind: righteousness. Sebastian is likely drawn in part from St. Augustine, who likewise lived a freewheeling lifestyle until his conversion to religion, when he became a devout and outspoken believer. So too does Sebastian embrace his oath and commitment to the Chantry way. For Sebastian, it has filled something in him that all the boozing and whoring never could, and is likely what has made him aware of things larger than himself, not just to live for faith, but for ideals. When provoked by Anders over things related to the Chantry, Sebastian doesn't surrender to anger at the mockery, but calmly and quietly defends it. Sebastian is not insulted by the questioning of his beliefs, because there are answers in one form or another, even if they are in a form that others do not share. Sebastian offers comfort, not judgment, to those who need it. He would never assault someone as a crime against the Maker, because for him, the Maker is about love, not death. But that's where the personality's ugly side could come in. Sebastian is committed to righteousness, and that means that he sees that in the name of great and terrible wrongs. Crimes demand that justice be done. When he denies that his quest to punish Flint Company is not revenge, but justice, this is not a flimsy justification in his mind. It is a sincere conviction. In so righteous a cause, bringing punishment to the guilty party is demanded, but only that far. Sebastian would not use this, as others, to justify harming those who may be innocent, to allow anger to justify striking out with flimsy rationale. Righteousness is a lifestyle to him, whether it's singing the chant, aiding those in peril, or striking down those who have escaped punishment for the most foul crimes. While his responsibility as the heir to Starkhaven is important, it is even in this context that it matters. He does not crave the position, but rather sees it as a necessity, an obligation, even if it means sacrificing the life he embraces to do so. To take up the role not out of a desire for power, but as another expression of faith.
You don't like me, Guard Captain?
I've no issue, so long as the fight over your title stays in Starkhaven. Exactly like it hasn't.
Should I apologize for trying to take back what is rightfully mine?
Whatever it takes, no matter the cost.
It feels like you're blaming me for some personal experience of yours.
I was at Ostagar. Good people die when leaders do whatever it takes.
Good people know the necessity.
Aveline can be summed up with the word protect. She was at Ostagar and saw firsthand the failure of those sworn to protect their king, and also how this conflict between the top ranks caused everyone at the bottom to pay the price. The moment Hawke first encounters her, Aveline has taken on the role of protector, standing between her wounded husband and an army of Darkspawn. "You shall not have him," being her cry. We saw her promotion was likewise because she was interested in protecting people, both the citizens and her fellow guards, which was how she got her position.
Big changes are coming, huh? Captain of the Guard. Thank you, Wesley.
Not sure I like being behind the dead in order of influence.
Of course I have you to thank. It's just, I've made a mess of things, time to time. But that failure, he's not with me. I know that. Wesley's at the Maker's side, or he's not. Either way, he knows no pain.
He seemed a good man, for a Templar. I'm sure he's found peace.
What I keep is that moment. I won't let anyone down like that again.
So yes, protecting the people, protecting the city, protecting her guards. That's Aveline's world because of what happened.
Captain of the Guard. Thank you for helping me get here, Hawke. It's where I should be.
But of course, life goes on for the living. So, eventually Aveline turns to me for help with another problem.
I need you to give something to Guardsman Donnic. Here in the barracks. No questions, and he is not to know it's from me.
Why, of course I'll do that, because after all, we're both in the 6th grade.
This is for you. It's apparently very important.
I'll take you at your word. It's a copper relief of marigolds? Ah, and it helpfully says so. Marigolds. Well, how crafty. Is there a meaning to this that I should know?
Damned if I know. I mean, this seems like the kind of clue Batman finds at a scene.
So, how did Donnic react?
To your garbage, you mean?
I thought it was clear. Metal is strong, copper ages well, flowers are soft.
Well, if we needed any proof that you were married to someone who grew up in the Chantry, I think we found it. Aveline has more weird ideas, and by the time the goats and wheat enter into the picture, Isabella has cracked the code.
Hold a moment. You're sweet on the boy.
So help me, whore. I will break you.
Oh, this is glorious. All this flailing is her idea of courtship.
It's no wonder these two are like oil and water. Each one zigs where the other one zags. For someone who loves freedom, a person who lives to impose the rules is to be despised. For someone committed to protection, a pirate would be loathed. Aveline delivers brute force. Isabella applies a knife with precision. These two are such opposites, putting them together inevitably leads to conflict.
Wait, you've gone 4 years without. You must creak like a rusty hinge.
Many people have their lives because of me.
But poor you. No life of your own.
We both place others above ourselves. I happen to do it clothed.
You're splitting hairs, but wishing someone would split yours.
I've had enough of your loose lips. Like many, I'm sure.
Oh, touché. Prig.
Slattern!
If I might put this back on track.
Either that or you're going to have to strip your clothes off and start mud wrestling. In the name of the Maker, I agree to referee. After a bit of brainstorming, we all agree that what should happen is she and Donnic should meet up at the Hanged Man for drinks. But because she's embarrassed about just bringing him there with her, she wants me to set it up. Fortunately, my silver tongue has gotten me out of a number of scrapes, so I know how to talk this guy into going there without him thinking that he's dating me. So it's just time to give Aveline the good news.
Hello, Hawke. Another time? I'm a little busy.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to tell you that the thing you called me down here to do, I've taken care of. Hope you have a great time. Captain, I'm too busy to talk to Hawke. No, I'll leave. I'm sure you've got to get back to alphabetizing your office supplies and laying out your clothes for the rest of the year. Well, I'd have to say this goes down as the worst date that I've never been on. Because Aveline doesn't show up. It's just me hanging around with Duncan until he's convinced I arranged this whole thing to try to sneakily come on to him.
I'm an idiot.
Admitting it is a good step.
Well, Aveline is just incapable of handling this in a social situation, so she seems ready to give up. But Isabella does what a true friend would. Give Aveline the kick in the ass she needs. If she doesn't hook up with Donnic, then Isabella swears that she will seduce him into her own bed, or convenient broom closet. So we agree to help with the date, since the one place where Aveline can talk with Donnic like a normal person is while she's on patrol. So we'll clear the road ahead of any hoodlums, and she can spend the time trying to romance Donnic instead of fighting bad guys. So, clearing the road, and in so doing, I present to you a one-act play titled, Varric and Isabella Don't Give a Shit.
Were you listening to that guy hang down last night?
Let's finish
Red one with no...
wings of your lips soaring.
I'd buy the guy a drink, but I don't think he needs one.
I'm sorry, is the murder getting in the way of your conversation? We can take this somewhere else.
So this route's pretty quiet?
Yes, and it's a real nice night for an evening.
Jeez, she's the George McFly of Kirkwall.
Well, guardsman, good patrol. I think we're done, and Hawke, what a surprise. What are you doing here?
I've been asking myself that question for the last half hour.
Would someone please tell me what's going on?
You're a daft couple of... Oh, take a hint and bend her over a basin, will you?
We finally spill the beans to Donnic about everything, and he leaves in confusion and embarrassment. Although not as much embarrassment as Aveline has right now. When we arrive at the barracks, there's just no telling what she's going to do. The way she's pacing around, she could put her fist through a stone wall or just start peeing on everything. I don't know. Well, when Donnic arrives, he wants to talk with her in private. It's good armor, but I guess it doesn't cover her tickle spot. Needless to say, she is quite happy with the results, and our friendship is affirmed. For about 10 minutes.
Trouble, Hawke?
You say that like you expect it.
You don't know the half of it. And why don't you, by the way? Why aren't you tail deep in the problems of this city?
Good point. If I was to hazard a guess, I'd say it's because I'm too busy handing dashing guardsmen turnips with faces painted on them, in the hopes that they'll go out with stammering idiots. What was that pathetic display? Is it because your tribe of Amazons didn't have any men there, or was your idea of courting seeing how hard you could throw a cow at someone?
You don't want me as sour and dour as you. You need a counterpoint.
I don't think I've asked to be made the butt of your jokes.
But that's the way that I serve. Just like a butler. I see a need and I fill it. You don't even have to ask, and I've already provided it. After Mom's death, we talk a bit about things, and the subject turns to her father, the one who had to flee Orlais.
Do you know what I remember? When he read to me, stupid things, dragons and heroes. He wouldn't turn a page until I reached over and took his hand. That big man made every step of the story my choice.
Very wise. Maybe he could develop a game like that, huh?
I was hoping you'd come. You did so much for my Fainriel already, but... I visited him among the people, but he turned me away. I know the demons still plague him. And now they've taken him.
I normally don't like to voice controversial opinions, but damn it, I've got to say it. Demons are jerks.
Surely there are mages who can pursue him in the Fade.
I have contacted Keeper Marathari. The Dalish have an ancient ritual that might help. But it requires someone Fainriel trusts to enter the Fade to free him.
Damn it, this is what I get for being so trustworthy. Normally it was a great way to make money, but now it's just a whole bunch of demands on my time.
The magic he possesses makes him what the Tevinters called Somniari, a dreamer. Dreamers have the power to control the beyond, what humans call the Fade. Fainriel is the first in 2 ages to survive.
Wow, that's bad. That's like I'm a seal working in a great white shark petting zoo kind of bad.
What can a dreamer do?
Dreamers are unique for their ability to enter the Fade at will, without the aid of Lyrium. In the Fade, they can shape dreams, and even affect the world beyond the Veil. Tevinter Somniari used to enter the minds of sleepers and slay them in their dreams.
Now this whole thing sounds like that Dennis Quaid movie, Dreamscape. You know, with all the old movies that are being made into TV shows like 12 Monkeys and Lethal Weapon, Dreamscape really is one that somebody should have snatched up by now. Somebody get on that.
Fainriel cannot become an abomination. The destruction he would cause is unimaginable. If you cannot save him from the demons, you must kill him yourself. A death in the Fade will make him what your circle calls tranquil. He will be no threat after.
Oh, so on top of all the other pluses to this mission, there's a good chance that I'll have to murder a teenage boy to save the world. Plus, I'm not even getting paid for this job.
I had not thought to return in such a way. It is good to feel the breath of the Fade again, not the empty air of your world.
So we'll get justice for the duration. That's fine. 10% more extremist, sure, but 100% less perverted. Well, we soon encounter our first demon.
Not many surprises. I wasn't sure I'd like this one, but it has potential. The demon of sloth. It exists to make men forget their purpose and their pride.
Given the state of the kid's bedroom, I'd say I've got one living in my house. This demon wants to tempt me, but I'm not going to be tempted. Once you've been snubbed by a demon, it really sours you to the whole idea of selling your soul. Some wounds just don't heal. But Hawke alone is not the only one to be tempted.
He came to us to learn his heritage, to release the power from a lineage as ancient as our race.
I don't know what to say.
Yep, they're trying to tempt Fainriel so that they can take possession of him, walk the world, and, destroy shit. Thanks to Hawke's intervention, he realizes what's going on and escapes for the moment. But the demon's none too happy.
You think this dwarf would turn down an opportunity to seize a power unknown to his kind? What do you say, storyteller? It's chafed, has it not? Making your brother the hero of your own tale?
A hero? Bartrand betrayed us.
And came away with the treasure of the ages. With my aid, you would have emerged with the glory, not tarnished silver and flesh wounds.
Yeah, he talks a good game, but trust me, glory doesn't spend. But Varric just can't resist the thought of finally sticking it to Bartrand and turns against us, so we're forced to take him down as well as the demon.
Good. I'll have you scribing all my letters soon. If I'd known you were such a brave lad, I'd have brought you into the business years ago.
Does that mean I can come with you to Antitha, Father?
These are effective temptations. The disappointing part is it feels like we're looking at this through a telescope. The wrong end of it, to be exact. This potentially allows us to connect emotionally with the characters and consequently with the game. But it doesn't. It's just not put together right so that we're connecting with him emotionally. We're witnessing it as if from far off.
How loyal are these friends you drag into the Fade? What would your noble knight do to reclaim what she lost?
You spent your whole life trying to be the chevalier your father wanted. The one thing you chose for yourself, and the dark spawn took him.
Wesley?
Come back to me, love. Everything went wrong when we met this family of apostates. Kill her, and everything we lost will be restored.
Now this, however, is a great example of how to emotionally connect, because we have seen so far, as I said, that protect is at the core of what Aveline is. And that's no doubt driven, if not defined, by the fact that Wesley died. He was the one she couldn't protect, so ever since she has sought to protect to make up for that. Unfortunately, she's not protecting her friends right now.
I can't spend another moment in this place. The screaming. Everywhere, all I hear are the nightmares of people dying, fleeing, gnawing their own arms off to escape. This is a world of monsters. And they all want me.
Yeah, I know the feeling. That's what it's like for me in the waking world a lot of the time.
Do it. Put the knife in my heart.
I've met a lot of people who were asking for it, but I think this is the first where someone was actually asking for it. Still, I don't kill, except in self-defense. And while I've had a lot of self-defense over the years, this isn't one of those times. Even if the execution is just making you tranquil, I can't do that to somebody. Sorry, but you're going to have to find a way to live with this. Or find somebody else to put you out of your misery. And lucky for you, all you have to do is walk down the alley of any city with money hanging from your pockets, and I'm sure it'll be taken care of for you.
I'm sorry. I should have stood beside you. I don't expect that will be enough, but there it is.
I don't know what came over me. I thought I was immune to silver-tongued promises.
I find there's nothing like being possessed to keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yep, straight and narrow. That's why you defy the law and upset basic human decency. The kid is going to go off to Tevinter to be trained. There's no other place that he can go. The Chantry control over the mages everywhere else ensures that there's no one around who can teach him to tap this ability, and the elves don't know either. It's either that or make him tranquil, and we're not going down that road. But we are going to have to deal with the fallout of what happened.
It keeps drifting back. I can feel the want of it.
It must have been strong to turn you.
Strong's not the word. I can deal with strong. This was, I don't know. It took a memory I was at peace with and, well, if that's what mages contend with, I'm less opposed to the gallows.
Unfortunately, the idea of protecting has a dark side, convincing you that a wrong that protects people is a valid, even moral choice. And it doesn't help that one mage cavorts with demons and the other is possessed by a spirit. Well, at least Varric is more reasonable.
Listen, Hawke. I'm so sorry about what happened. You know, back there. That whole time we were in the Fade, nothing felt real, which makes sense, considering. Anyway, I want you to know, I would never choose a demon over you while conscious and sober.
Flatterer. Varric can be summed up with the word wit. Varric has gone through the world in the shadow of a surly brother. Bartrand's loud, uncouth, and direct. Thus, Varric has learned to compliment his brother by being persuasive and likable, and when necessary, getting by on his wits. Varric likes a clever plan or a lie, and the best lies are stories. They're lies made large and elaborate, and everyone loves to hear them. Though sometimes the truth is what the situation needs.
That looks like Legion of the Dead armor. It's an Orzammar thing. No matter your crime, if you join the Legion and vow to die fighting Darkspawn, your name is cleared.
We ran across this dead guy during our run through the depths of the Warden prison. Turns out that this guy is down here in part thanks to a distant relative of Varric's.
That's where I know the name. Tethras Garin should have been the heir to the Garin clan. But he was accused of killing his sister and sent into the Deep Roads to die. When the real murderer was caught, they tried to find him. They never could. Instead, every Garin heir from that time on took the name Tethras in his honor. One of them became a paragon in his own right, and founded my clan.
So we follow instructions on a ritual to pay homage to the fallen, innocent dwarf that so many lost their lives trying and failing to rescue. And that's a story that affects Varric.
Atras Tunsha. Totania Amegtol Tavash Iduk.
That was sweet, Hawke. Now let's get out of here before you see me cry.
Varric is quite aware of the ugliness of the world around him at times, but he doesn't allow that to lead to cynicism. Varric instead treats it like a ship where, instead of cursing and fighting the waves, he figures out how to safely ride them until he comes out the other side. Again, using his wits to survive the problem and land on his feet.
I notice you hardly ever comment on mages and Templars and such.
It's a lot of humans in skirts. I get them mixed up.
I highly doubt that. The subject comes up all the time.
Tell me about it.
And no opinion, one way or the other.
Opinions are like testicles. You kick them hard enough, doesn't matter how many you got.
That's something.
The word that best describes Fenris is scarred. The lyrium that marks his skin is a physical indication of the effect that this has had upon his spirit. The loss of his past is but one wound, but the result of this is someone recovering from a tragedy and never quite able to move on. It's certainly not easy if every time you catch a glimpse of yourself you're reminded of it. As a result, Fenris wishes to see the helpless aided. Slaves, elves, just the innocent in general, make their lives better. The world has conspired against them enough. Unfortunately, those same scars means that he can't see a mage as ever being innocent. It is understandable why he sees magic as he does. Everyone who has ever used it around him has done so to step on the throats of the weak. But like I said, understandable doesn't mean right.
I need to know if it's a trap.
I did as you asked, Fenris. Now it's up to you. You talk to him, Hawke. I've had my fill for today.
Why is it always my turn to take care of Fenris and clean up after the dog? And Sandral. So, your sister is coming. I can understand why you're so pissed off.
Yes, yes, laugh at me. Come with me, Hawke. I need you there when I meet her.
If this is going to turn into another awkward date like with Donnic, I want no part of it. So, we go to see her in the Hanged Man, only it's a trap. Daenerys arranged this because Varania, Fenris' sister, is actually a mage, and so desperate to be made an apprentice that she is willing to betray her long-lost brother.
Shut your mouth, Daenerys. The word is master.
Now you're pronouncing it wrong. Here we pronounce it asshole, like that.
You are no longer my master.
I don't know what you just did, but that was cool.
You sold out your own brother to become a magister.
Your sister's a mage? You bloody hypocrite. You really are just jealous.
Anders, for the 1000th time, shut the hell up unless you have something useful to say. By which I mean, shut the hell up for good. Turns out that Fenris, or Leto as he's actually known, had to fight and compete for the chance to become what he is. It was an honor at the time to be what he became, and his mother and sister would be freed from slavery. So, not the news he was expecting. It takes some convincing, but he lets her live.
Elf, Fenris, I know how hard this is to believe, but this is the last thing you want to do. Get out.
At least he has seen the need to show a mage mercy. And perhaps from this, and from having the symbol of all he hates of magic dead, maybe he can see the need to extend his definition of innocent even to them when it applies.
Lethalon, I need to ask something of you.
Yeah, I know. No one ever calls up and says, I feel like doing something for you. How can I make your life easier, Hawke?
I think I have to go back to the spirit that helped me at the start of all this.
Oh yeah, that's a great plan. I found my love interest for the game, and it's that plan. Let's go talk to the demon right now. Then I won't have to worry about carrying around this soul anymore.
Summoning a demon can't possibly be the only way to fix the mirror. Someone else must know something.
The Eluvian was lost before Arlathan fell. The only creatures who would know anything about it are in the Fade.
So we went to all that trouble to get you the sacred gardening tool, and it didn't solve the problem, huh? And now we gotta climb a mountain and talk to a demon. It just about caps my week. Let's go now before someone tells us to do something else on our way out of town. I need this nuclear waste carried and dumped on that pile of old dragon bones. Don't worry, nothing'll happen.
Something is wrong. This is where the spirit was bound. But now it feels empty.
Is there a halfway house or something we can check to see if the demon's there?
How can he be gone?
Why happened?
Oh, hey, Keeper, I brought your hoe back to you. I mean the gardening tool thing. I'm not... Never mind.
The demon's plan was always for you to complete the mirror. It would have been a doorway out of this prison and into our world. You would have been his first victim. I couldn't let that happen, Dalen.
Well, shit. Are we gonna have to fight you? It sounds like we're gonna have to fight you.
Shit.
Yep, I knew it. Boss fight. So we put her down, and then we put her down a second time to make sure that she stays down.
Why couldn't she have believed in me?
That was the noblest thing I've ever seen anyone do. The world is poorer for having you in it instead of her.
Anders, what part of shut the fuck up do you not understand? Well, if this day wasn't a keeper already... Oh shit, that really was no pun intended. Outside, we find the elves. I'm sure they'll take this whole situation in stride.
There would have been no demon if it weren't for this little flat-eared bitch.
We've suffered enough because of this traitor. It ends now.
Wait, please, this doesn't have to be like this. Please, could we all stop fighting for a little while? Because we don't want to have to kill any more than We already have this fight. If you guys could all stop with the, fuck.
Please calm me. I'll wake up and this will be a terrible dream.
If I had a nickel for every time I said that, I would be the Empress of Orlais. Alright, let's just sneak down here and not say anything and hope nobody knows what... Oh, shit. Alright, look, everyone, I know this is a bad situation. Could we all stop the fighting for a moment? Just please, could we all just... I don't want to have to stab anyone else. Could we... Fuck it. This isn't necessary. We could stop this any time now. We don't need to kill each other in order to... God damn it, no wonder the Dalish are dying out. Well, I think this is a first. I don't know anyone else can claim to have committed genocide strictly as an act of immediate self-defense. Still, on the bright side, I guess we get to keep that fancy sacred letter opener.
Your keeper did not deserve that death.
It was my risk to take. I never asked her to do this for me.
She knew you didn't have the strength to resist the demon. That's why it picked you.
Why are you doing this?
Because he still hasn't learned when to shut the fuck up.
My balloon, my birthday balloon, red, my favorite color.